certain things to people if one of your employees die, in order to hedge that, in order to offset that expense, they were buying out life insurance policies.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Jesus fucking.
That is so fucking slimy.
That is the fucking grossest thing I've ever heard.
God.
Of course they would do that though. You know. Fucking corporate America, man. I don't.
I mean, the Waltons. That's the richest family in one of the richest families in the country.
Oh yeah,
that empire.
Which is like kind of why like I still hate Jeff Bezos, but I do love him for like just knocking down all those like weird Vanderbilt families that have been there forever. Where it's like, yeah, fuck you people, fuck him too. But I'm happy he killed all of you.
Fuck him too. I could also use a little quicker delivery. Tomorrow's not going to work. I need it today, bitch.
All right.
I still haven't gotten my fucking headphones, buddy. So
yeah, the headphones are missing, and where the fuck are the drones dropping our shit off yet? I've been hearing about this for 4 years. It's a drone. Come on.
So one thing I learned today is that Phil loves Jeff Bezos.
Yes, yeah. Don't put that on record. But.
Oh, well, that's what we got the markers here for, buddy.
This is on record. Big fan.
Jeff Bezos.
Big Bezos guy.
Huge Bezos guy. Can't stop talking about Bezos. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. All right, so I guess we should formally start. Yeah, right. So I guess hello guys, and welcome to the Learning Things podcast. I'm your host Phil.
And I am Kyle.
And we have a wonderful guest with us today, Mr. Alec Meeker.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Alec, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Why did we bring you on this podcast? Can you?
That's a good question. Yeah.
We're still wondering.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think we're gonna learn some things today.
All right.
And what I do is I run a local news publication in Brooklyn called Bushwick Daily.
Hell yeah.
And I've been doing that for the last 3 years. We've been operating the publication is called Bushwick Daily, and we cover mostly Bushwick and North Brooklyn news and culture and people. And yeah, we're gonna learn some stuff about Bushwick Daily, and I mean, I've been operating in the news space for the last 3 years, and right now is a very strange and interesting time for newsrooms.
Of course, yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's what I was going to ask you when we were on the walk coming back from the deli. I was going to be like, "How long have you been working in news and journalism and stuff like that?" Because did you go to school for journalism?
No, I didn't. I didn't go to school for journalism. I've been a writer and involved in community politics, and that's something that's always interested me. Is how a community functions, and how news and the people that are news and the people that are community leaders and business owners, how all of those parties interact with each other. And yeah, in the last 3 years, it's been a steep learning curve, and I've learned a lot because I didn't have any idea going into it what like a normal newsroom looks like, and one of the things I found out was that there's no such thing as a normal newsroom. And there's a lot of people trying a lot of different things.
But that's why I love about you, and that's what I love about New York and just Brooklyn, where things are right now for a lot of different people, is like this place is full of entrepreneurs. Like you were someone who was working in finance before, and you just liked writing a few articles and stuff, and then you just decided to kind of get into the business, and you took a chance, and because you had the passion for it, you went for it, and it's been working out, and it doesn't always mean experience, Sometimes to get experience, you need to just do the fucking thing, So, yeah, I've always just been like really admired that about you as far as your work ethic and stuff.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's been, yeah, thanks. And
yeah, he's like, I have no idea. He's like, can you hop off my dick? Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, it's the best experience though, because you're learning fucking everything firsthand. You know what I'm saying? That's always how I've been. Like when I want to start something new, like I've never had a mentor. It's been hard for me to find people that like really stick with me.
I'm sink or swim.
Back me up,
That's what I go for. Like for me, I'm not somebody who like can like take a class or something. Like I can take a class and be told how to do something a million times.
Right.
I will not know how to do it. I have to just do it until I get it right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't know
yes.
that I just have that type of brain. For a long time as a kid, they only teach you one way.
Mm-hmm.
So like I kind of thought I was a little dumb or just I don't know whatever. But I've just learned through my life, like that's the type of way I learned by just doing things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's a gift.
that's like it's a tactile learning style.
Yes, that's
There's
what they
like
call
the,
it,
the
yeah.
auditory and the visual, and I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Which can be it can hurt sometimes. I was
Yes.
talking about putting together a budget for Bushwick Daily, and that is something that is a weakness of mine, not because I'm good with numbers and that's something that I'm used to doing, but predicting the future and putting together a budget that's not tangible yet, and predicting what's going to happen a year from now, and then putting it down in numbers without being able to feel it and without being able to kind of just do it is something that doesn't work as well for me.
So what are you doing to kind of combat that difficulty, or just trying to grin and bear it right
well,
now?
like you said earlier about the sink or swim, like that stuff is necessary to run a business, and so I'm swimming, and doing that because it's something that's necessary.
Hey man, I mean you're staying afloat pretty well, and me and you have had talks about kind of partnering with shows and stuff like that, and I'm actually getting something started. I can't really say too much about it just yet. The Tiny Cupboard stuff is still happening every Saturday, 8:00. All right. But I got some other shows. I got some moves that are coming out pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. And Bushwick Daily might just be a part of it, So
stay tuned.
So stay tuned for that.
Tuned.
Yeah. But that's what I like about you just trying to get stuff done, and even you too. Like that's why we've become so close of friends. It's just like I wanted to do a podcast. I knew I had to do it with somebody, and I'm like, this is the only guy that's gonna match me. You motherfucker, you're hitting me up at like fucking like 12 o'clock at night, like yo, you up? I'm like, this nigga.
No.
But I love it though.
Getting ideas coming to my head, or like I'm thinking about something, want to make sure we're on the same page.
But it's like it's better than than how it was with other people that I may have worked for. It's like I had to be that guy all the time, and they weren't giving me anything in return.
For sure.
So
Oh yeah,
you count your blessings, man.
Hell yeah, you go through that a lot, especially out here in New York. People being so busy, people always trying to do their own shit, and then you got the people who are like, think they're too fucking good for you or whatever. They're in their heads. It's like, come on, dog.
Like Alec, how have you dealt with that type of stuff? Like coming from like a small publication, which you're definitely doing your own thing. Like I've heard a lot about Bushwick Daily, but like, do other publications kind of like look down on you guys from time to time? What is your perception of how people perceive you and your publication?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's something that I'm still. You're welcome. The New York City news environment New York is where people come if they want to be journalists, whether it's working for CNN or working for being a writer for a small publication. Mm-hmm. So there's a huge amount of people who are fighting for a small amount of positions, and there's a lot of. It's an industry that's driven by prestige, and people all want to work for the best publications and the ones with the most name recognition and notoriety. And the truth is that right now those publications are the ones with the most overhead and have been wrecked hardest by the internet and people doing stuff like this and having conversations and also Bushwick Daily and so as far as me interacting with other publications, it's a strange place that I'm in, because there aren't a lot of publications that are the size of Bushwick Daily, and there aren't a lot of places in the country where there's enough of a population density where a publication like Bushwick Daily, where we cover North Brooklyn, which is our main audience that we're looking for is only about 500,000 people, or is 500,000 people. And so that doesn't usually publications are either national publications are specific to a subject, or publications are the nonprofits and working on a very small mandate. So
and they're started by people who usually come from money and stuff like that.
Well, right, that's yeah. So I'm an outsider, and Bushwick Daily is on the outside, but there is an incredible community of local publications in New York that CCM CUNY, they have a graduate school of journalism, the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism. Nice. That Craig Newmark is the guy who started Craigslist.
Oh wow! Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and
I didn't
so
know he was a journalist.
He's not.
Oh.
But he
I'm just looking for some ladies.
He's donated.
It started with misconnections. That's where it all started. The first Tinder.
So the story with Craig is I have a funny story.
He's like, I don't know why you named this after me. I was just trying to get my dick sucked. I don't know. Thanks.
So Craig is a billionaire.
Yeah,
he's a billionaire, and he's donated a bunch of money to the CUNY school.
Nice. Okay.
And they named the school after him.
Cool,
but he's
cool.
also actually the only. I've spoken to him on the phone. He's yelled at me on the phone because I called him. Just because as a small publisher, finding funding and finding people to support the project and believe in the project is massive, and making those connections, like you said, is with me being an outsider, I'm able to make some Hail Marys.
Yeah.
And knowing that Craig Newmark started, he gave the Newmark School or CUNY many millions of dollars. So I wanted some of those dollars. I thought I thought maybe if I get in touch with him, he would be like, oh, okay, you're doing journalism, I'll give you a couple $100,000 or something. So I Googled his name, trying to find a way to back into his email address or something, and a phone number came up in Google. Like, nice. You search somebody's name and it gives you that little square of Google's information, and there was a phone number. Wow. And I called it, and it went directly to his cell phone.
What?
Yeah.
So what you're saying on camera is that you can find the owner of Craigslist's phone number on the internet and totally not prank call him and totally not leave any threats or anything.
Yeah, and ask for millions of dollars.
Yeah, or don't leave, or ask for millions of dollars. Good to know.
Yeah, well, right. Yeah, no, so I called him, and because I figured it would go to a secretary, go to his like organization or something. Yeah. Goes directly, so he didn't.
This is Greg.
Yeah.
So
it went to his voicemail.
Nice.
And it was his voice, and so
what did he say? What was it?
I don't remember what he said.
This is Craig.
Like,
I'm busy getting my dick sucked. Call you back when I can.
I think it was that, actually. No, I think you're right, Phil. I think it was about getting his dick sucked.
Still looking for the girl on the A train back in 1977, by the way. So if this is you, please leave a message.
Yeah, it was something. I don't remember the specifics. It was basically that. So he didn't answer. I left a message saying like, hey, introducing myself, whatever, telling him about Bushwick Daily. A few minutes later, he calls me back, and just like, I answer, say hello. He's like, and immediately he says, don't call this phone number. Send me an email. And gives me his email address. So it was cool, but like.
But he was very stern.
Yeah, he was very stern, and
how did I let my number get out there? Yeah.
Right, which is whatever he doesn't. Maybe it's still out there. I don't know. So that's you can fair. Check if you want.
Yeah,
you can give him a call. But he's a super nice guy. I sent him an email, and he was offered help and suggestions, and he's given. I don't know how public this information is, so this is some real. You can learning things, but he's given a bunch of money to just all New York journalism and NPR and Gothamist. So my call with him, or my email with him was about how could he wouldn't offer me any money, but he offered me like I'll help connect you with somebody at Gothamist or WNYC, and we could work something out there, which was super nice. And for
Yeah.
Craig Newmark,
Yeah, exactly. The CEO to
Craigslist.
randomly just be like, "Yeah, I'll help you, guy." That
Yeah.
called my phone randomly.
That's fucking amazing, man.
That's pretty crazy. Like, shout out to Craig, bro.
Yeah, Craig, thanks. Yeah, Craig, you seem like an all right guy.
Yeah, you're a fucking cool dude, man.
Doing a lot for local journalism.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's just like, in terms of getting connected with, there are so many people who are right now thinking about local journalism and trying to solve the problem.
Okay.
That people are very open to talking about.
And what do you think the problem with local journalism is? Ooh, that was an investigation. You guys like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean the problem, the main problem is that content has become so cheap, so inexpensive that anyone can do it, and the majority of, and journalism is expensive. If you're going to have, you really need an editor-in-chief to work on the strategy and the direction of what you're publishing, and also the scheduling and like the management of the writers. And then you need a fact checker and copy editor, at least one, and then you need a salesperson, and then you need to pay all your bills for web hosting and for all of these people. So it's difficult, and there's no direct. In New York, it's nicer because there are so many businesses and there's so many opportunities for me personally with Bushwick Daily to call up a bar or restaurant or a local business and see if they're interested in advertising. But across the country, this isn't necessarily the case. Across the country, you could be in an area, a small town, a rural area, a small town where there's not that much money. Businesses don't have marketing budgets. And if we're talking the problem nationally, it's that there just isn't enough money for it. And so when there's free content being made, there's no room there's no middle ground for small publications or medium-sized publications.
And can I ask you, do you think because of these, these problems that you just brought up, do you think that's another reason why so much misinformation gets printed in media? Like, there's so many alternative news websites now. Do you think it's because people don't want to pay for news anymore? Most real media places are dead fucking broke, and these people are willing to just pump out news, but it's not really news. It's just random shit that they're writing, but they're acting like it's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think,
but we take it as news. A lot of people do.
We take it as news, but the bigger problem, I think, is that because of what we're talking about, because these local newsrooms and medium-sized newsrooms have dried up, there's there's fake news coming out, and that there's no filter behind that. But also, we've become a country that's obsessed with national news, and a country that and national news is not tangible. National news to the average person across the country, for even not the average person, national news, if we're talking about foreign policy, or we're talking about the thing that Trump has done or anything, it's not tangible, and it's not something that people can change. So what we have, what has been built is just emotion, and national publications are just about invoking emotion in people and getting them addicted to reading the next story and kind of following these things and getting angry about things, versus and so when you have an environment where people are accustomed to getting angry about things and just following stories that they can't change at all, it's very you lose your power, and it's not tangible, and it's not something that you can go down the street and check out yourself, and that allows for more fake news, or more people get conditioned to have an emotional response to information in their news, and so they can't. That just allows for fake news and for just highly polarizing news to be the people's, they need it. People are addicted to it.
Well, I feel like nowadays, honestly, I feel like most news doesn't really, you're not getting the news anymore. You're just getting people's opinions on events that have happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why you brought up the whole world news thing. I'm a big advocate of world news. I tell my friends all the time, Don't watch like ABC or something. Watch like BBC World or something like that, or even like Al Jazeera. I watch Al Jazeera like all the fucking time because it's world news, and they just tell you what happens. They don't tell you how they feel about what happened.
Yeah.
They just tell you that it happened, and then they go on to the next story. And I think that's way more responsible of a way to give information, because once you start giving like emotions and your own true opinion about everything that's happening, you can start to, fuck up the minds of people who are watching and reading these things. A lot of, let's be honest, with America, we started off in a terrible place, subjugating so many different types of races and religions and shit like that, and just, people for being different, whether it's sexual orientation or whatever. So like when you mix emotions and stuff into politics and what is happening to the world and opinions rather than actual hard facts, it can really fuck up a place like this,
Yeah.
like so much.
I totally agree with that, but I don't think that opinions are always bad.
It's not.
But
It's not bad. It's just that can't be the only type of news. Like every article is an op-ed piece now, rather than some of them just being fucking pieces about what happened.
But I think the key is that it's an op-ed piece about things that it's an op-ed piece about emotional things that people are feeling that aren't tangible.
Yeah.
Like for example, one thing Bushwick Daily does a lot is we'll feature people in the neighborhood who are doing super cool things. And for one example is a few years ago when I first started, we did a video segment on this woman who was a trans woman who had started a self-defense class in a boxing gym that was exclusively for trans people. And this was a story about someone in the neighborhood who was an entrepreneur who was doing something in the neighborhood that was increasing, improving the community directly, and also building a business and creating something in the neighborhood that is impactful and will directly affect people in the neighborhood. And so that's something that if you're a transphobe, if you're someone who's homophobic and you read that story, it's not about reading a story in the national news and like having some emotional response. You can go and meet this person and you can talk to them, and that's an entrepreneur, that's someone that might share some of your values, and you learn tangibly about the people in your community, and through that I think that there can be a lot of change on an individual level.
Yeah.
Well, I think
much more direct, much more personal for sure.
Way more. And I think the difference would be like with you, that's more of just like shining a light on a specific person, entrepreneurship and trans rights and human rights and stuff. But yes, if it was a different publication, depending on which side it'd be on, it'd probably be like, oh, trans people are training. You know what I mean? Oh, what are they fighting for? Are they, like they're trying to learn how to fight. Why do they need like they really, like when you're saying like emotional subjects, they take stuff like that like the nation hasn't all decided and come on like one hard consensus on, and then they just try to drill it into your head about like, just getting you angry. Like they could say something like, oh, they're training for this. Why are they training for this? All these people are so combative or something like that. And that'll get me, a liberal, pissed off because I'm like, fuck you. They have a right to do whatever. But then it gets a conservative pissed off too because he's like, fuck those guys. Why are they doing that?
I mean, the whole system in general is just way too fucking rigid.
Yeah, it's all ridiculous.
It's just black or white. It's like, okay, so there's no gray here. Like,
yeah, that's the problem.
Does everybody think that there's not a scale for anything? Because you know what I mean. But that's like what it's been coming to. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's just like hard on one side, and people just aren't curious. And the news, actually, these news outlets take care of that for you because they just give you information. They tell you the information that you need to hear. People want to be told what to believe.
Yeah, they do.
People want to. They don't even realize it. They actually like it.
They don't know what they want.
They would rather not have to make a decision for themselves.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They would not actually have to. They don't want to explore it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes out any ability to have emotional responses. Just it's something that we cover sometimes. We don't do a lot of crime reporting, but we because I have my reasons for that. But we do cover, fires and things in the neighborhood sometimes, because that's a tangible thing that people are going to be interested in learning about. But having a community news outlet a lot gives you the information. If there's a fire, oh well, I found out what happened to my favorite restaurant, and there can be community grieving, and there can be pain felt on a community level, and loss felt on a community level. Whereas, and then communities can move on and grow and have that kind of that common narrative that we were all here when this fire happened, and I I learned about it through this publication, and that sucked.
Well, I think that's what I really admire about your publication the most, is that like most of the stuff in there is designed to bring the community together, rather than like poke holes in what the community is. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're saying, it's highlighting some like a trans entrepreneur or something. So you're highlighting a business and a person of a different orientation who people need to see more of and understand. Or like I wrote the piece with La Casa Art House and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like that's a good thing. But I was also wondering, like, what do you think the general direction of your newspaper is? Do you want to be more something that highlights like events and stuff like that, or are you trying to be more like a New York Times kind of hard-hitting news thing?
I think we will. Well, yeah, that's an important question, and it's something that I think about a lot. Both would be my answer.
Yeah.
We will continue to cover local events and cover local people at Bushwick Daily, but we're also expanding right now into more comprehensive political coverage, and we're three of my writers recently were awarded fellowships to cover the 2021 mayoral campaign.
Nice.
And so it's when the question of, do you write about things that are citywide but are affecting people in the neighborhood and affecting people in our coverage area, and the answer is yes. So we just launched at the beginning of last year, launched like a paid subscriber program for people to support Bushwick Daily on a monthly basis. So if you're thinking about, if you appreciate local news and you're in Bushwick, you can go on bushwickdaily.com and check that out and consider subscribing and supporting. But as we grow and as our coverage, as our paid subscriber base grows, and as the amount of people that are reporting on the neighborhood grow, we're going to continue to cover more of the cool stories that are just 100% local, but also expand out to more city level stories that and how they affect people in the community.
That's great.
And that's how I see the growth, because really right now there are so many stories that we're not covering, and there's so many stories like of people and of people that do amazing things. There's a lot of stories happening that we aren't covering, and our coverage is not comprehensive, and no one's coverage is comprehensive. But the constraint right now is resources, not stories or
gotcha
or like that. So the first step is just to continue to beef up what we're doing.
Okay, that's fair.
You guys are in print as well as digital, right?
No, we've had there's been 2 magazines that have been published.
Okay.
But I would like to go, print is something that I'm trying to wrap my head around as well, but we don't have print right now.
So can we actually? I want to rewind a little bit, because I learned so much about the the website and everything. But what about you? Like, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
The 814,
right.
Which is
that's how you know he cares about that shit. Saying the area code.
I'm
baby.
fully a Rust Belt kid.
Cool, man.
Yeah, so Erie is like an hour and a half in between Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland,
Okay.
Ohio. And I grew up like there's a lake there. It's it's a proper Rust Belt city. There's a population of 100,000.
Yeah.
And then I went to.
So what made you go from like being like a Rust Belt kid to studying finance? Like where was that differential? Because I come from like New Jersey and stuff like that, and it's a middle class town. There's some people who are like are lawyers or doctors and stuff, but a lot of people are townies and stuff, and they stay like that. Like what made you be like, I got to get out of here?
A lot of townies in Erie.
Like I got to leave the 814,
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of I was always very liberal, very the Democrat growing up, and I was like in my high school there was like, instead of taking a class credit at senior year, I was able to have an internship.
Oh wow!
Which meant I could like leave school an hour and a half early, 2 hours early, which was sick.
Awesome.
And I did those. One of them was at the D League basketball team.
Okay.
And they had me working operations, and like I was blowing up balloons, and it was awful. I worked a lot for that credit.
Of course.
And the other one was with a Democrat or Congresswoman. She was up for re-election, Kathy Dahlkemper, and so I worked on her political campaign during that year. It would be like 2010.
Okay.
And that's where I saw the political process, and I saw what it took for Kathy Dahlkemper. She had one of the final votes on Obamacare and was able to pass it. And I saw I worked with these people that were hugely passionate and were able to affect change through their work.
Okay.
And through working with Kathy Dahlkemper, she ended up losing.
Sorry, Kathy.
She didn't get her second term.
God damn it, so close.
Yeah, she's running for.
Yeah, right. Well, it's Alec's fault. You abandoned her.
Yeah, didn't knock on enough doors.
Yeah, dude,
apparently.
what the fuck, man?
But that was so. I went to university at University of Pittsburgh, and I wanted to do political science and get into politics.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of writing involved in that. But I was cynically like I looked at a list on Wikipedia of every congressperson, and not one of them not one elected official in the country was a political science major. So I was just like,
yeah, they're all lawyers.
Yeah,
and
they're all
stuff,
lawyers. Exactly.
Yeah.
Business owners coming from money, and then so then I realized that I think too cynically now looking back on it, people can make a change in organizing and grassroots stuff. But is super important.
I don't think you're wrong though. It's like most people that study political science aren't in politics. They usually get disillusioned with politics after seeing all the bullshit that you saw. It's almost like like doing stand-up comedy. Most people that really like love comedy and stuff, they end up quitting and stuff because you just you have the purity of it, but then when it becomes a business, people kind of back away and they're like, I was just in this for the love, or I just wanted to give more joy to people, but you guys are fucking sharks. I'm out of here,
Yeah. Sometimes you think you love it more than you do.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely fucking true, man. Absolutely fucking true.
But also, the business side's completely different.
Yeah, it's kind of
start making that shit
fucking weird, and so politics must be like that tenfold, because they're like ugly celebrities.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally just it's money, and then you have the political science majors who you have knock on doors for you.
Yeah,
but after that, I decided, all right, well, if I'm not going to do this, what I necessarily want to do, I'm just going to try to pick the major that makes the most money.
Okay, gotcha.
And so I did finance, was challenging, and it made the most money. So I
did you enjoy yourself any during that time at all?
I I enjoyed myself. I was able to get like a few good mentors, and it's a lot of math, and for all the time that I was doing it, I was learning a lot about how the financial system works, and that's super fascinating to me. And I still use some of the things that I learned, but it was something that I did because it was a challenge more than it was what I wanted, where my heart was.
Gotcha.
Did you know what you wanted to do when you went to college?
Yeah.
No idea.
Or you know what? Like, what about? Can you tell me about your parents? What are they like?
Yeah.
What did they do?
my dad is my parents met at Erie Insurance is like the one. General Electric.
That's an ominous name.
And Erie Insurance are the two big employers.
Erie Insurance.
Yeah.
You better sign with us, you motherfucker. We're gonna get you. That's awesome. Okay.
They met like
working
when they were
for
working there.
Okay.
My dad was a software engineer, and my mom was also. But I was. So I have a brother and a sister, and
so you just come from like smart motherfuckers anyway. You just happen to live in the Rust Belt.
I think my
Two
dad
software
was the
engineers.
first.
That's amazing.
My dad was the first guy in his family, person in his family to go to college. And,
wow.
Both
Nice.
of my parents grew up like living in a trailer at some point, and so they kind of had like, okay, this is our time for the American dream.
Yeah.
So they went to school, and then they got the corporate job in the office, and
That's
then
great.
started a family.
Yeah.
And my mom, she left work when I was born.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's the deal. I mean, they're liberal. They've always been. I mean, they're amazing
That's
people,
great.
and like have good politics, and have been, always working to they instilled okay values in me, I think.
And it was like, so
I
your
think they're
brother,
good. Yeah, they're great.
your brother and sister, like are they into engineering and stuff as well?
My brother's he's a chemical engineer.
Oh wow.
He
Okay.
was going for
Got a brainy family, man.
I guess, yeah.
He's got a smart family.
He's the brain, I don't feel he was going for his PhD in chemical engineering, and then recently just left with his master's to work at Beyond Burger.
Wow. Okay.
So he's like engineering,
making real money.
Well, I don't know how much he makes, but yeah, more than I'm making for sure.
He's making some good burgers over there.
He's making some good burgers.
If anybody gets sick from Beyond Meat, you know who to fucking sue. What's your brother's name?
It would not be me.
Sue Kevin Meeker. Elliot Meeker.
Yeah. So like he just graduated and is working for Beyond Burger. My sister, she got a business degree, but she graduated last year.
Nice.
So she went into a pandemic world.
Yeah, that's tough.
So she's figuring that out.
Yeah, especially she's a business major who
Right.
That's like fuck. But you know what though? If she pulls out in this climate, then she's invincible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if she figures something out, some angle, it's like motherfucker. Then when the world comes back, it's like nobody can tell her shit.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You're gonna talk shit to me, motherfucker? I fucking found a business deal in the apocalypse. You piece of shit. People were picking.
She's gonna be talking like this.
That
too.
is how my
This
sister
is
talks.
literally
Yeah.
this will be word for word verbatim from
I was
her
picking
mouth.
my teeth with
Yeah.
your goddamn bones a week ago. You fucking bitch. Don't you talk to me?
Yeah, that's her. You got her.
So if you guys wanted to know her a little bit more, you do.
Yeah, there you go. So big up to Sister Meeker over there.
Yeah. Aaron.
How do you spell her name?
Aaron.
Oh, Aaron. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just throwing shit out there. I'm like, Kevin is like your brother's name.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. I just called her
said Meeker?
sister. I was like, Sister Meeker.
Oh, Sister Meeker.
Yeah, that makes you sound like a fucking nun, but hey.
It does,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are becoming nuns these days.
Yeah, I think it's less and less,
That career path.
I think
is
anybody,
tightening
yeah.
up.
This podcast is sponsored by the Catholic Church,
Yeah.
everybody. Glad you brought that up.
Yeah, well, that's the segue. Yeah.
We got some openings at the old Catholic Church. Yeah. Free lodging and all the little boys your dick can want. No, that's terrible. That's awful.
That's true. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like, don't give me shit, okay? Give the church shit. Oh
That's
man.
in the copy that they left you for the promo.
Yeah, like, why is this in the script? You guys gave me this, right? You guys gave me this, right?
This review? Yeah, that's good. It's all good.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, we
dude.
finished that last night.
Fresh off the presses. But yeah, dude, I mean, I feel like that's such an interesting, story to hear about your family and everything, because I feel like it's so interesting to just come out of nowhere and kind of hop into, that industry specifically, print media and even just online media. It's people make those types of things, but there a lot of those websites are like gossip websites or strictly like event sites. But you're still trying to do like real articles and stuff like that, and that's tough for a lot of people. A lot of people only want to do fluff and only bullshit. So to come out and be like, we're trying to educate people in our community while still adding things for events and local venues, it's a lot. So it's fucking respectable, man.
This is something that's going to keep New York alive, though.
That's what I'm saying, man.
This is something that's going to keep New York like New York.
Dude, we need people like you, New York Nico.
Oh, yeah.
And even like my buddy Tom, who we're actually going to be recording an episode with him pretty soon. He does a show on YouTube called What a Town, where he basically does like virtual tours and tells people about different neighborhoods and different areas and all the historical shit that has happened there. And it's like, and he does interviews with like local entrepreneurs and local business owners. And it's like, we need that, because before the pandemic, honestly, like New York was pricing itself out. Like, it got to a point where like even people who were making decent money could barely even survive here.
That's a fact.
And like if we want people who are here for the long haul to really thrive here and contribute to the culture of what New York is, we gotta support like our local entrepreneurs, our local businesses, and just each other. And there has to be some sort of cap, man, on certain things.
Yeah. It's scary where the market's going.
It's fucked up.
It's amazing right now. Come here and buy shit. Come here and rent. If you
Oh,
really want to move to New York,
That's what I'm saying.
move to New York now.
Dude, it's so
and
great.
Lock down the longest fucking lease you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone fucking moved out, and we still got the real people here.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
thing,
for sure.
It's like, and when I say real people, I don't mean just like only people who were born and raised in New York. Like, there's still plenty of transplants here, but it's like
Right.
the people that truly loved this city for what it is.
For sure.
Those are the only ones here.
100%. There's way too many people that are transplants or just people with money that fucking leave. They
Oh
go-
yeah,
they
as soon as
go
anything
upstate,
gets bad, I'm
go
fucking
to Long
out.
Island,
Fuck
they go
you,
travel
man.
around the world. I'm sitting here like, y'all are like
Right?
living the life.
Like, I was surprised how many of my friends were secretly rich. Where it's like, I thought we were both broke. Like, half the time I've smoked you out on weed, on these blunts and shit. Because, I just don't got it. Oh, bro, hook me up with a beer. And then some shit goes down and you're going out to the Hamptons. I see you on Instagram in a jacuzzi. Fuck you, man.
No invite.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Not even a text being like, I'm going to be gone.
Yeah, back at my parents' house.
Next day, it's just like you're in
Yeah.
somewhere in Long Island. In the
home cooked
Hamptons.
meal, and it's like you with the most fucking elegant shit ever.
That recently happened to me.
Really?
Where somebody else, I love him, and I'm not gonna name him, but like, we were both like he just started a publication recently.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And we met and we were talking about it, and we're like, damn, this is like, this pandemic has really thrown a wrench in the things that we're doing, and I mean, for me, the last year has been hell. It's been very difficult, and for him the same. And we bonded over that, and we were talking about some projects together. And then I didn't hear from him for a couple months, and he comes back and he's doing an event, and I was a little bit involved and helped him out, but he's like, yeah, this last year has been super tough and super hard, but I went to my parents' like beach house for the last 2 months, and it's been super nice, and like I feel so refreshed. And
yeah, it's like fuck you.
He's like, yeah, it was absolutely necessary, just like get some air.
It's like, how many Brownsville niggas get to get some air?
Yeah,
really get to unwind. Not one.
I'm feeling just like, that's like, like, yeah, I'm glad we can work together, and like, but I still have the cumulative effects of like everything, and I'm glad you're refreshed and like doing well, but
Totally, I feel you, man.
but like I still have that like,
and he's
weight on my shoulders.
I'm sure he's a good dude, but again, that is kind of like the weight or like level of like privilege. Like, that is what privilege is, where it's like, when poor people or even just middle class people, we all have our struggles, and there's so many things weighing on you. Stress, like financial stress, life stress, all that stuff. Like, rich people, not to say that they don't have their stresses too, but it's like, you have shit. Like, you can just go to Cabo
Yeah,
shit, you know
Yeah, I
what
don't
mean?
blame him. I wish that sounds
I
great.
don't-
That's
I don't
like
blame him.
self-love.
I don't blame him
That's
for shit.
absolutely amazing.
For sure.
I don't blame him for a goddamn thing. I mean, bro, you're born into whatever your life you're born into.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're not a piece of shit, keep going and live your life, But that's one of those things where it's like it can be harder when you're trying to be like an entrepreneur and all that stuff, and so many things are just on your head. Like that's why a lot of these like different artists and stuff that blow up and all of a sudden like get money and then they like start going crazy and shit. It's because like they don't know how to deal with any of that stuff like a rich person might know how to. They won't get a massage. You know, they'll just be in their house being like, I'm crazy. And they won't realize it's like, nah, bro, you can fly out here, have someone talk. You can go in a sensory deprivation tank. All that shit rich people do to clear their minds, but they don't get it yet.
I mean, that's what happens a lot in the NBA.
Yeah, they lose their shit. They're like, bro, it's too much pressure and I don't know what to do. And it's like, nigga, therapy.
Yeah.
You can
or just get a financial manager because you can afford it.
Well, not even. It's like, bro, you were doing fucking sliding scale therapy fucking 10 years. It's like now you're a millionaire. You can get the bombest. You can get Kanye's therapist, which probably don't because that nigga's still crazy. But, but you can get like get Mark Cuban's therapist or some shit.
I don't think that one's working either.
Yeah, he's a sociopath. But get somebody. Get Uncle Snoop's fucking therapist. That's a chill therapist, right? That's a good therapist. Get Uncle Snoop's therapist. Something.
But that's it. Another thing that is
Poor
why
niggas don't know me time. They don't have me time. That's one thing. Sorry.
It's true.
In the meantime,
they have neither of those.
Both. They don't have me time or mean time. Yeah. Mean time is not used in their vocabulary.
Yeah, not once. Not once.
Our vocabulary, I should say.
Like, I really. Yeah. Sorry, go on. What were you saying?
That lack of me time is something that affects people all over, and something that I believe local journalism and the lack of in a lot of places has really hurt people. Mm-hmm. One thing that I saw during the pandemic was there are so many business owners and community organizers and people coming together and really helping the community and spending so much time like being selfless. And Bushwick Daily was able to write about some of those stories, and highlight those people. But that's often the difference between getting enough attention for your project and the thing that you're doing is like coverage by a local media outlet so that you can share it with larger publications. And there's kind of like a momentum thing that happens. And in a lot of areas that don't have local publications, people work their asses off and then just get burned out, and then they don't do it, then they have to stop or run out of money, or they can't like get that breather of it's not about getting attention for your project, but it's about like just having momentum. And when Bushwick Daily publishes a story about somebody in the community that's doing something and we can raise awareness about that, that's something that those people don't have. Oftentimes New York Times or Gothamist will then cover that story and grow the coverage, where people who have money through either success, like they've been hustling hard and they have money now with their business, or just they have money to start with, are the best at PR. Oh yeah. And they're the best. They know the people to hire. They know the names and the numbers of the right people to call, so that their work, they start a project or something, and then they can. I get a lot of press releases on a daily basis. Some from restaurants that are just like twice a week. I'm learning about the event that they're doing. Yeah. And that kind of thing for someone that's a community organizer or someone that's really just putting themselves out there and working nonstop. Like in areas where the local publications don't exist anymore, which is a lot of places across the country, there's no one to tell that story and get it more attention and get it the momentum that we were talking about. So it's key.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, that's it.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, like, I totally feel what you're saying, because it's just like, even with me, when I first started, like before the pandemic, I was running all these different shows and all that stuff. And like, sure, I was like, doing okay, but I was really struggling because it's like, I couldn't pay for advertising. So every single show every week, I'm out plastering fucking flyers everywhere.
Yeah.
Trying to go anywhere where people will notice it. Trying to just do word of mouth. I'm hitting up relatives and friends every fucking week. Kyle knows. I used to hit him up all the fucking time about trying to get to shows and stuff like that.
Yep.
Whereas somebody who comes from money or has money in some weird way can just throw $100 at like an Instagram promotion, and now fucking like 10,000 people see that shit.
Yeah.
You
Speaking
know,
of, how's our ad doing?
pretty solid. Because now we got some fucking money. We're doing okay, you know. But you know, you're right. I think there's that differential. Like that is the difference between surviving and not surviving. A lot of times for people who don't really have that much cash or are kind of newer in the game, it's like I gotta keep pushing. I gotta keep doing my thing. Like also too, I saw something on Twitter that I thought was a really good quote. Which is rare. I feel like nothing on Twitter is good to read. But somebody wrote that he was like, people need to normalize knowing the difference between free time and availability, you know? And I feel like a lot of people who don't have much cash, you know, like we need to especially know that differential, which like just because you're available does not mean you're actually free. Your mind needs a second to rest. You'll burn yourself out.
That's crazy.
You know?
That's a great quote. Yeah.
Right? That shit is amazing. I saw that shit and I was like, yo. You know, and then I scrolled down and just saw a bunch of other Twitter bullshit. I was like, okay, I'm gone. Yeah. But like that shit is legit, man. Like we need to know that because it's just like, I don't know, like, yeah, poor people struggling, mental health and stuff like that, and checking in for yourself, taking care of yourself is so much harder. It's hard for everybody regardless, but there's just so much less time you have to do that stuff, you know, when you're trying to have your hand in every little pot that you can, you know?
Yeah.
Stuff. Like, what are some ways you guys deal with it?
I was going to say sometimes it just requires that. Well, I think I can directly relate to that just over the past, like, 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, I've been much smarter with my time. I've been, you know, just really doing the things that have more importance to me and actually really are going to make a difference in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
just
what?
Little decisions, even just little decisions, like whether it be how often I want to go meet somebody for coffee. Like, yeah, I have that time, but you know, is it free time? Am I available? Is it free time? No, it's probably just I am available, but like I should definitely be taking that time to chill. I mean, I came in here today. And yesterday, you know, I had a long-ass day. I worked for a nonprofit as well. Ended up getting an audition later in the day. I spent a couple hours working on the podcast. And for the past 4 or 5 days, I've just felt like I've been doing nothing but working. You know what I'm saying? And even when I have my free time, or even when I have available time, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not taking that time for myself just to fucking sit there and relax.
Yes.
I feel like I need to go do something. Even if it just means going to get a fucking coffee.
Bro.
Just because that can be a habit.
I remember, what was it? Yesterday we were talking about comedians in cars getting coffee, right?
Right.
I remember I was watching an episode one time. It was an Eddie Murphy episode, and it was him and Jerry Seinfeld. And Eddie Murphy talked about in his house, he literally has a room that just has nothing in it. And he just goes and lays on the carpet and just lays. And I was like, nigga, like people think he's probably crazy. To me, I was like, nigga, that's the most smartest shit I've ever heard. He's like, bro, I just have a chill room. It's just empty. It's blue. He was like, it's like sky blue or some shit. He's like, I just lay in there and I just chill. And if my kids want me, they'll come and get me and shit like that, you know? But he's like, when I feel overwhelmed, when I'm really overwhelmed, I just go in that room. And it just helps me. And I'm like, everybody needs me time. Sometimes you don't need to, when unwinding, it doesn't always have to be like fucking TV and shit. Even, you know, that even that's too much mental stimulation because your mind's still going. Yeah. It's like you just need to, bro, like lay on the carpet.
Yeah, you literally need to do nothing.
Sit, do nothing. Like say nothing. Don't do shit. Just be still for a second.
Yeah, meditation's been a big thing for me. The last month, I've been trying to take 2 or 3 times out of the day where I just sit there, I fucking sit down. I think I did it when I was over here one time. Maybe I actually was doing it over when I was sitting down when I first came in, just for like a minute. But I usually try to sit down for 10 minutes and just take big deep breaths and
Yes,
just fucking
man.
focus on my
Yes.
breathing and try to just cut myself out from everything that's happening in the world because
Absolutely.
especially in New York. I mean, I'm going to bring this back again. I feel like I keep saying especially in New York,
It's
especially in
nothing
New
but
York, especially in New
stimuli,
York.
bro.
But you're being constantly like, even if you just step
Beeps and
outside,
screams
fucking
and-
people. I mean, you can hear, some dude just went behind some motorcycle that was mad ass loud. Like,
Yeah, dirt bikes and
like,
shit. Like,
people are intruding in your
What the
home
fuck?
without doing shit.
Yeah, I got people stealing my
You know?
cat.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Bro, like, there's some shit.
Walking up on you in delis.
Oh my god. Oh, Let's put a cap in that one.
I was cutting you off. You were gonna say something.
No, but all of that is compounded by just there's so much opportunity in New York as well, and there's people who
Yes.
create content, there's people who have who are just hustling. There's a certain guilt associated with taking even a few minutes to
Damn right.
chill, because if you watch TV or you go on your phone or something, you know that you could or should be writing, you should be working on that next thing. So
And somebody else is.
and somebody else
They
is.
really are. Like, they dead ass, like, are.
Yeah.
like, nigga, like, it's always hypothetical, usually, but, like, nah, New York, like, there really is somebody doing that.
But you
shit
got to take
while
that
you're
time,
resting.
or else, like I do.
You
The
have
last
to.
year has been, just even in a time where I have, there's not that much going on outside,
Yeah,
and I'm still just like in my head thinking about what needs to be done.
Yeah. I know
That's the
what
only
you
reason I
mean.
post on Instagram. I'm like, I want motherfuckers
Yeah.
to feel bad if they're not working right now.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
what
That's
I'm saying.
I'm posting pictures of me and my
That's what I'm
clothes.
saying. And it's like, why?
Should probably
yo?
go shopping.
Like God literally put the world on pause. He put the universe in timeout. He was like, you niggas need to sit here, not leave your fucking house and chill. But we're all still running around, especially us out here, still running around, still hustling, crazy.
I hope everyone knows I was joking.
That shit kind of true though.
Nobody. No, it's not. Fuck you. Fuck you.
It is for me. I'll be
mean,
honest. I like to, I do get a certain amount of pleasure in working and actually working hard in the thing that I love. So I do, like, for me, it can be a little bit of a low-key flex. Like, yeah, nigga, we just made a time-lapse video. The fuck you got out here? Yeah, nigga, I got subtitled podcast videos. Yeah, nigga. Oh, I got that show flyer. Oh, you saw that shit? Oh, word. Okay. Know that you saw that shit. Watch how you talk to me.
Okay.
But that's good.
Okay.
That's saying. I mean, that's productive working. That's you're getting something done.
Yeah,
You're
I'm not like
You're
just
being
shining,
effective.
You know what I mean? I'm being effective, and like when I see other people do that shit too, I am like worried up. Like I like I don't know. I think it can be to your detriment sometimes, but I think a little bit of competition or competitiveness can be healthy. Like I've heard, a lot of comedians be like, dude, comedy's not a competition. I'm like, nigga, you're lying. only nigga, he's like, it's not a race. It's like only the nigga winning the race would say that.
And someday you can say that.
Exactly. Oh, bro, just trust everybody.
Yeah.
Question no one. All right.
All good intentions here.
Yeah.
We're all working together, man. Hit me when you want to collab.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I'm probably not gonna respond, but you know.
Yeah. But like I said, it's not a competition, right? I'm gonna go with somebody more popular, but I swear it's not a competition. I swear. I'm just judging you on your prowess.
Did I just notice that you have a tattoo on the inside of your arm?
Yeah, I do have a tattoo on the inside of my arm.
Hell yeah.
It's a shamrock. Because I'm all about cultural appropriation, no, it actually, I got it St. Patrick's Day like 4 years ago at Dromedary Bar right on Irving Avenue in Bushwick. Check it out. They have a bunch of great cocktails and shit there. My friend Danielle used to work there, but they had a tattoo artist for St. Patrick's Day doing free tattoos. And they used to do this, dude. It was awesome. Halloween, Friday the 13th, and St. Patrick's Day. They would do free tattoos, and you just tip her, but you're just getting drinks and shit. So
Yeah.
I was like, if I'm getting a
So there it
tattoo,
is.
Yeah, I might as well. If I'm gonna get a if I don't get a free tattoo, then I'm not getting a tattoo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like I'm one of those people.
That's crazy. That's the opposite of what most people say.
Really?
Yeah, the most what I've heard before is if you're gonna get something permanently on your body forever, you're gonna pay good money for it.
Spend a ton of money.
Well, you know, I'm a different
It's a
breed.
frugal man.
Yeah, I am.
It's
And also, sorry.
It's actually really funny because
Yeah.
I was just over at Phil's house, the owner of Good Luck Dry Cleaners. I was
Okay.
at his house last night. Shout out Phil Reese. Phil Reese is also one of our sponsors. We'll get to that later. But Good Luck Dry Cleaners, an amazing business, amazing art gallery. Phil Reese is the man, complete legend in New York. Fucking love you. He hosted a party back in the winter of 2019,
Okay.
I believe it was. It was the Ed Hardy release. Ed Hardy, he partnered with Ed Hardy. Good Luck Dry Cleaners partnered with Ed Hardy because they were coming out with a new collection of clothing. And this dude, Jason Ackerman, incredible tattoo artist, incredible painter. He was there giving free tattoos, and I was gonna get my first.
Wow.
Tattoo there.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck it, dude. If I'm gonna get one, I'll just get something small. You
That's
know
what
I
I'm
mean? Fuck it.
saying. Like,
Mhm.
because for me, I always wanted a tattoo, but I can never perfectly figure out what I wanted. You know,
Yeah,
and I never really had that much money. So I was like, you know, and it got to a point where I was just like, I almost feel like I'm never gonna get one, and I'm always just gonna be planning one. So like for me, when I heard there was a free tattoo, I was like, you know what? I might as well get this, and this will get the ball rolling, and I'll see whether or not I actually like fucking tattoos or not. This shit's super fucking small. It doesn't mean shit. Whatever. It's
Well,
one tattoo.
what it also
Yeah.
it captures a moment in time too.
Yeah.
A lot of people like it art or something sentimental, but that is like it captures a moment in time, so you can always remember that time you were at Dromedary, and it's a different thing.
Yeah. Well, also
It's
too,
cool.
like I love how this has turned into you interviewing me.
Yeah.
I love your like mic position. You're like, oh, that's really interesting. So
Alright.
insightful. God damn it. Will you ever stop being a newsman?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
Cut
see
it
how the
out.
business goes. We'll see how the
Bastard.
industry goes.
Oh my
But-
god.
But no, you're right. Like that's how I got my cat, by the way, too.
Is that Dromedary?
Yes, they were giving away free cats.
Free
and
cats.
Dromedary and,
And
you know, with the tattoo. No, it's crazy. It was like about like 3.5 years ago or some shit. And I've told this story before. It was like the dead of fucking winter in December. It's pouring rain. And some asshole just left a duffel bag full of kittens on the front porch or whatever. And I just get a text from one of my old roommates being like, hey, sorry about this, but somebody left a fucking bag of cats. Like, there's like 10 kittens. They would die if they were going to be out there. We need to find a new home. And so we found them all new homes, but I liked one. And like, I'd always wanted a pet when I was a kid. I never really got one. And that was one of those things where it's like a pet is falling in my lap. It's like I always wanted a dog. Never really thought about getting a cat. But it's like this fell into my lap. And it's like, all right, well, if I don't get this cat, I'm probably not going to get a pet, at least for a number of fucking years. So like, why don't I get a cat? He's super low maintenance. And just see how the fuck it goes. And I fucking love this motherfucker.
Nice.
and shout out to Mo.
Yeah, shout out to Mo.
Shout
dude.
out to Mo wherever the fuck he is.
Yeah, he's in the kitchen.
I want to bring it back to you though. So,
Mhm.
what year? I also just want to clarify some things. So you moved. What year did you move to New York? Or yeah.
Yeah, that was it's 4 coming on 4.5 years ago.
Fuck, so you only moved 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Were you working in finance when you
No.
were here? No.
No.
You were working finance.
I moved. I was when I was in Erie,
When you
and then I
moved,
moved
okay.
to New York to not work in finance. Like that's a counterintuitive, I guess. But
Okay.
yeah, I moved to New York and I worked in finance for 2 years. And after those 2 years, I had I was in a small organization. You think, yeah,
Stop here and see if we can get another beer.
It's time out. Yeah.
We both signaled at the same
right.
exact time. I go, oh, beer. Yeah. Can we get it? Oh, is there any more beer? No.
No, there's no more beer.
Oh, there's no more beer. Okay,
We
need to
can
get more beer. Fuck.
Split it.
Hey, you know what? I got some uptime left over. If you want a little, you want a little caffeine.
No, this is I have water. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you.
So you moved to New York 4 years ago. You're working in finance in Erie. you came to New York, and after what, a year you started?
Yeah, after a year.
You started
So-
the newspaper, the magazine?
Yes, well, I didn't start it.
Sorry.
So Bushwick Daily has been around for 11 years.
Oh.
Um,
Okay, yeah, my
Right.
apologies. My apologies,
He
yeah.
bought the company. He didn't found it.
Yeah, I
Gotcha,
pulled.
gotcha.
So I took out the story of how I could afford and could buy the company is I took out a bunch of credit card debt and used it to purchase Bushwick Daily, essentially.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Hustler, bro.
Gotcha.
Like a true
Yeah.
hustler.
Like Cassavetes style is
Right.
yeah.
And can I just before you go on, can
yeah.
I ask why Bushwick, Bushwick Daily? Like, is it because you were living here, or was there something that like what attracted?
Right.
Like,
It's
what were you attracted to?
So I was living here and I used Bushwick Daily as a news source, as an information source. I saw how valuable it was to myself and other people in the things that we've talked about already, in just, all of these people and stories that we've talked about from the creators and the local leaders and all of these people that are doing things. But New York is a big city, and if you move to a neighborhood, there's no welcome. You have to make your own welcome mat. But I saw how Bushwick Daily was it was a source of information that didn't exist in other places, and it was a bit like that welcome mat. I was able to I was able to read it and see what was going on, like what was the discussion about gentrification, what was happening in the neighborhood in terms of entertainment and art, and who were the people doing it, and it was it was something that I read every day, and I knew a lot of people who read it every day, and so when I first moved here, that was I read Bushwick Daily a lot, and then I had a little money saved up when I first moved here, and was here for a year just doing odd job type things, and then I eventually got a temp job working in Long Island City. And so I was living in Bushwick this whole time and temping in Long Island City, and I realized that there was nothing similar to Bushwick Daily in Long Island City. And I started to build a local news site for Long Island City while I was working there. And that kind of became my obsession, and the project that I was working on was that I was going to build a version of this news publication for Long Island City. And I did that. It took me 6 or 7 months to kind of to build the site and to start publishing articles. And about 2 weeks after I started publishing articles, the founder of Bushwick Daily posted something on the site saying that she was moving on, and she was looking for someone to take over, and kind of in the spirit of what Bushwick Daily was. And it was something that I knew very well and had studied while I was working in Long Island City and building this new thing out. So I reached out to her, and the rest is well, it took about 4 months of talking with her. We went to hot yoga together.
That's really that's where the deal was sealed.
Yeah, sealed.
That's the most gentrification shit. Went to hot yoga together.
Yeah.
That's where we hammered out our deal.
Yoga to the people.
This generation, it's different from the Mad Men days.
Right.
We had a scotch. We did hot yoga together.
Yeah, we did. This was we sealed the deal.
that
But
Tommy
yeah, it
gun.
was like, but it was the same. I had to build the relationship. She had to trust me and get to know me. But yeah, hot yoga was a part of that.
That's awesome, man. So can I ask you, if she saw what you were doing with the publication today, how do you think she would feel?
I still talk to her. I think that she, well, at this point is she moved to LA right after she got rid of the publication, and then has a kid now. But I have made a point to work to continue the founders. The founders' mandate in Bushwick Daily really started as an art and culture publication.
Yeah.
And about what was going on in the neighborhood. So all I've done is just try to round out the coverage, and to include politics, and to include more community organizing and issues that are affecting affecting people in the neighborhood and everyone in the neighborhood. One complaint or one criticism of the publication, and it's still something that I work on, and that all publications, it's an issue in all newsrooms, but that a lot of the stories of the local community, a lot of the stories of issues that affect people that aren't the gentrifiers, that aren't the people that are engaging in the art and culture world, some of the or even that English isn't their first language. And there's certainly there are a lot of publications, and it's every newsroom's responsibility to make it as representative of the community that they serve as possible. And so with a limited budget, that's been my mandate, and to answer, and so I've expanded more into local politics, and I've expanded more into community issues and community organizers, and covering those stories, and while maintaining as much culture and art coverage as we can. So I think that's in line with what the founder kind of initiated.
Well, Alec, I feel like it was super cool. I feel like we learned a lot today. We're pretty much over the hour mark. We've been at it for a while. Is there anything else you want to tell us about Bushwick Daily? Anything specifically coming up? Anything you want to plug? Or
I would say you should follow Bushwick Daily on Instagram at Bushwick Daily to keep up with what you're doing if you're in the neighborhood, or even if you're not. We have a lot of interesting stuff going on. Coming up in the future, there are some cool partnerships that I am working on right now that we'll be announcing. So you can, the Instagram is a good place to follow up on that. And then if you're not in Brooklyn, or if you're not in North Brooklyn, check out the local publication in your area, because and consider supporting them, or if you can, support them in any way that you can, because they're definitely in need of your support right now. So yeah, check out Bushwick Daily, see what we're doing, and support your local publication.
Amazing.
hell yeah, dude!
Thank you so much for
thank
being
you.
on, man. Yeah.
Thank you
both.
And guys, just remember, like you said, support local media. Check out Bushwick Daily. They have a lot of great articles.
Nice.
Yeah, we learned a lot. So thank you for coming.
Make your own welcome, Matt.
There you
guys.
go. Make your own welcome, Matt, and thank you for coming to Learning Things with Alec Meeker.
Wait a second, it's a show now.
Peace out, you motherfuckers.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.